Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the PSGL GT Tier 1 race and the championship here. You'll find ourselves on the round 7, and we're going to the Japanese circuit, the Autopolis International Short Circuit, as you'll see on the track map. Of course, it's far from straightforward for the drivers tonight, but more of that in a few moments. My name is Webbo, and I'm here as usual to take you through tonight's racing. Looking forward to seeing what the drivers do on this relatively short circuit, and especially in these tricky conditions. The dark yellow headlights, of course, very iconic there on the Dodge Viper of Aura. And let's talk you through, while the drivers are on their warm-up laps, let's talk you through where we find ourselves with the standings currently. Currently, we see that Alpha is in the lead of this championship, wresting the lead away from Antonio in the previous round with 3 wins, 2 second places and a non-finish. And Alpha has 73 points to Antonio's 69, only 1 win, 2 second places and 2 third places. And then the another winner, Mehdi, has a single win and a single second place. In third place on 46 points, followed by S. Moreno. Jamie Hasnain, who is your Season 1 champion. Then comes the Lexus Enjoyer, Aura, Racing Green and Kai Racer, the top 10. We are expecting a good, I would say, a good 10 drivers tonight. Hopefully we will get all 10 of them together. I'll talk you through the Constructors' Championship in a few moments, but let's get down to action then on the racetrack. The qualifying has already begun, and we'll sit with let's sit with Alpha as the first one on track and current championship leader as he tackles the tricky and difficult set of corners here and the tricky and twisty middle sector. The drivers have a big decision to make here as to what they decide to do with regard to strategy. The intermediate and wet tyres are in operation. We are looking to have pretty heavy rain shortly after the start of the race, and then it is set to random towards the end of tonight's race. We will see 45 laps around this circuit, the Autopolis International Racing Course short variant, and just about to complete his first lap. Getting past the pit lane on the left is Alpha, your current champion. He gets a 1:20.056, beaten by Prima Jos and also by Aura, the German. Then comes Mehdi. Alpha tumbling down the timing screens as things stand, as we wait for the rest of the laps to come through. There is Prima. Prima, his team name. Jos gets a 5th place. Jamie up into 3rd as well. Balancing act for the drivers to know exactly what to do when it comes to which tyre to go on. Let's cycle through and see what tyres the drivers have selected in the top group. Alpha and Hasnain back into the pits. Aura on wets. Looks like the grid have all gone for wet tyres. Yes, indeed they have. So very, very interesting gamble there. I think it might be more towards intermediate tyres, strictly speaking, but they do want to make sure they've got the right tyres for that difficult second sector of the race. Hello to Damien, who joins us. Hello everybody else who is watching with us. Do drop in, say hello, tell us who you're here to support, or if you find a new favourite while you're watching with us tonight. I hope you enjoy tonight's racing. Something different to watch now that the F1 championships are all wrapped up for season 31. I had the pleasure of commentating over F2 yesterday in the F1 game. But yes, the GT Championship continues. There is the penalty line, the double yellow chevron markers pointing that out as we go through the final hairpin. Chronic understeer on Antonio's car. He's currently up on his time, but I'm pretty sure that will have lost a decent amount of time. Could be that the first laps were the ones that really made the difference here, as the track conditions appear to be worsening slightly. Antonio crosses the line, no improvement for Antonio, but Aura stays 2nd as well. Aura in the Dodge Viper, in the white, blue and red liveried Dodge Viper. Don't be too confused by the fact that there are a number of different as we go very wide indeed. There appears to still be 3 minutes remaining of qualifying, so a bit of a sympathy moment there for Aura. Looks like there's plenty of time for the drivers to improve their times. We haven't watched with HRG, H Racing Green here just yet, as he tackles effectively turn 3 officially, and into the tight, twisty middle sector of the racetrack. I'm not expecting to see miracles around this sector. I think there'll be pretty much 2 overtaking places, turns 1 and turns 10 at the end of the lap. But hopefully, yes, we will have an 8-minute qualifying, of which there are 2.5 minutes remaining, followed by a 45-lap race. Remember that the drivers have to use, well, the tyre restriction is actually taken away due to the difficult conditions. The medium, hard, soft tyres are available if the random weather conditions turn dry at the end of the race, but we are expecting most likely to see intermediate and wet tyres in operation. So an interesting balance for the drivers: when to pit, if to pit, whether to pit, I should say, as HRG some 2.5 seconds off the current pace in 5th place currently. I'm not sure whether that's entirely accurate, because the times for the drivers who are currently in the pits are taken away from us. So I think the drivers in the pits might have decided that there's no improvement to be made. We'll get a glimpse shortly. This is Lexus Enjoyer, who does not, unfortunately, drive a Lexus with us, which is kind of always very confusing. I believe he's in a Nissan Silvia usually, so you have to bear in mind that there may be a Lexus driver out there and it's not Lexus Enjoyer. I'll try and use his full name wherever possible. So looking forward to this. For the racing geeks among you, they are on 5 times tyre wear, 4 times full fuel usage, 100-litre tank, which will be brimmed at the start of the race. So like I say, 45 laps of racing will be with you very shortly. In just over 1 minute's time, we'll go green immediately. I hope you don't. I hope you are as patient as possible on this start. I am tied to driver eye view, or a chase cam at least, for the first sector of the first lap. It is a glitch on the game. Lexus Enjoyer P4 there then on a 1:21.225, his best time. Hello to Combustion Corner from Aura's chat. We'll bring everybody in if they are here for Aura's chat as well. Tell us what you're seeing from his point of view. That's always interesting to see. Let's join Mehdi, shall we? There in the BMW. I think it's the M4 that he's driving. Let's have a quick look at it from the chase cam. He's one of our Pokemon liveries, but remember that the manufacturers are how the teams are organised, not the liveries on the cars. Thankfully, our Aperture Laboratories drivers do stick to the right similar liveries, but everybody else, there are 2 lots of Pokemon manufacturer liveries. BMW had the leading the standings on 125 points. We've got Mercedes on 72, followed by Porsche on 55, then comes McLaren on 52, Nissan, Audi, Lexus, Dodge, Jaguar. Looks like we are finished with qualifying, and Antonio will take the pole position, trying to get that championship lead back again from the other drivers. Now, he stopped on the racing line. That's not exactly amazing. Mike says, I thought this was F122 with supercars for a second. Well, the cars did look a lot more drivable than the supercars on the F122 game. But no, we are Gran Turismo 7. This is the 2nd season, and we're almost underway for you. Antonio leads from Aura. Antonio on the outside, Aura on the inside. Mehdi and Jamie will ride on the back of Jamie and have a look at the start, as Jamie gets a good launch actually, and is already up ahead of Mehdi into the start of the race. Like I say, be patient with this start. Unfortunately, we do have the issue of the fixed camera angle, so we'll just watch the start with the front 4 as Jamie gets a squirrel on the way out of turn 1, but just about wrests control of the car. Antonio leads from Aura, who is drawing alongside already from the first place driver, and outbrakes himself to the outside. That is Aura getting the inside line and braking the car successfully through the early stages. We've got Jamie making a nuisance of himself on the rear wing, and Mehdi looking for a bit of a cutback. He's left the gap though to the Silvia of Lexus Enjoyer down the inside, but it is Antonio still from Aura. Bear with me while I quickly exit, go back in again, and we'll get a decent trackside camera for you hopefully very soon. There we go, nice camera work there. Thanks to Gran Turismo 7 for that beautiful glitch on the car. It is let's get you some graphics as well, shall we? Very frustrating this. There we go. Okay, and There we go. So Antonio, Aura, Jamie, Mehdi, Lexus Enjoy, Afa and HRG. Then comes Joss at the back. All the cars making a successful turn, and check out the three-wide battle for 4th place between Mehdi, Lexus Enjoy and Afa, and the Jaguar there getting the nose ahead on the way into the corner. But the next corner is a right-hander, so that is that looks like HRG. Someone spearing off on the outside. Outbraking themselves tremendously. Afa in 6th, HRG staying in 7th in the beautiful liveried Aperture Laboratories car. And next up we've got Mehdi then in 4th, challenging at the front, but the drivers just tiptoeing their way around, not trying not to wear out those wet tyres too early. Bruno says Gran Turismo PS2. Well, it is Gran Turismo 7 on the PS4 or the PS5. The drivers are under instructions to use their native correct version of the game. We've been experimenting to try and iron out any glitches from the PS4 version on the PS5, but it does look to be the most sensible thing to play the best game you've got for your system. Antonio from Aura, from Jamie. Antonio on track to get control back of this championship from Afa, who's currently down in P6 and leading this championship, but hopefully we'll see some action with these guys later on. So what of our Season 1 champion Hasnain down in the order? He is currently down in 8th position, defending from the newcomer Geordie Boy. Geordie Boy has selected the McLaren 620S, 650S, sorry, and he is debuting with us tonight with a bit of a shark tooth grin on the front of that McLaren, looking for a gap down the inside. No bueno for the McLaren, unfortunately, from Geordie, but he's looking to try and move forward there. He's got Eat My Dust on his rear-facing reg plate. Lego, wow, some great sponsorship names you don't see ordinarily elsewhere. Just trying to get the car under control. So these guys are the ones at the back with Joss. He was the one who speared off on the previous lap. It's lap 3. Aura leads Jamie now. Jamie has taken 2nd place. Beautiful maneuver there from him, and gets a good line through the next corner. The SLS AMG in P3 of Antonio, just struggling for grip, getting a tighter angle. Combustion corner tells us that Antonio broke too late and went wide and let Aura and Jamie through. Well, thanks for the info. Great info indeed. Always good to have that extra thing. And there, Hasty B says, how long is this race? Well, Hasty B, have a look at the top left of your screen. It's a 45 lap endurance race, but don't get too flustered about that. It's quite a short lap. Only a 1 minute 19 kind of a lap, and there will be a change in conditions coming shortly. We expect the rain to worsen and then get a little bit better later on. So hopefully we'll see some decisions being made around tyres. Aura holds the lead by 0.4 of a second from Jamie, who has an 0.8 of a second cushion. Well, make that 0.7 of a second cushion from Antonio, who is trying to get himself back in the lead of this championship. Jamie sneaking up the inside there, and Jamie, well, when everything is leveled out on these wet tyres, showing very well tonight, and I'm sure any neutrals in the crowd will be cheering on Jamie for a good result. He led quite a few of the laps last week, but just on a different strategy. So getting used to running up at the front, albeit not securing those top positions come the checkered flag. I'm sure it will come to him though. We've got someone joining the game chat a little bit late there. I'm not quite sure how they're managing that one, but as they cross the line at the end of lap 4, start of lap 5, Aura leads Jamie from Antonio, Mehdi, HRG, Afa, Lexus and Hasnain, your Season 1 champion in P8. Looking like we're getting a little bit of difficulty following Jamie on the track, so I'll try to avoid riding with him, so to speak. Mehdi getting a little bit late on the brakes, avoiding contact with not his teammate but a different car, as looks like HRG getting the nose ahead thanks to that mistake. So HRG up to 4th place. That leaves the Aperture Laboratories Porsche Cayman GT4s up into second and fourth. Very successful start to the race for those two drivers. They'll be hoping that the lack of difference-making tyre usage and fuel usage will benefit them. Mehdi really losing the car now significantly and frequently coming out of corners, obviously struggling a little bit. His wet tyres look to be fine in terms of wear rate, but just struggling with perhaps the heaviness of that BMW M4. Bruno says the graphics are very photorealistic to real life. It is a beautiful game, and when you race in the rain with the headlights shining, I think it's very hard to fault. It's only when you're watching a driver who's on slightly difficult connection do you start to see a little bit of juttering and jolting. But honestly, this is a gorgeous game, is it not? When the rain is falling. Back in season 1, we had a race in Nürburgring. Check that one out if you're a fan of atmospheric lights ablaze. Wet weather driving. It was a really fun event, and there you can see puddles being sprayed up off the wheel rims of the cars as they navigate that turn 2 into turn 3 now. There's HRG in the purple Asahi Kessi liveried. What is he? He's a Cayman as well. Again, not quite enjoying the same level of form he had in the Group 3 cars from season 1, but we have a very nice tight battle at the front here. Aura from Jamie, from Antonio. Aura rocking a slightly updated livery tonight, a new one for us, but he is a mainstay of the competition. Don't forget, there is that beautiful car. Let's get nice and tight and close, shall we? And check out the orange side of the Aperture Laboratories. That is a Portal 2 livery, and fond memories I've got of playing that game, as well as it suiting the car very well indeed. Little spray of a puddle coming out of the final corner, turn 11 at the moment. Lap 7 complete. Sorry, lap 7 beginning. 6 complete. Some obviously varying lap times. You can tell that from the second and third laps we're back to heavy rain conditions. It is fiendishly difficult on the cars. Let's see how the drivers are coping, shall we? Let's join Antonio on board and see what kind of visibility he's suffering. Let's see, really nice dynamic in-car passenger seat kind of view that we get here in GT7. Really fun, looking deep into the apexes, sometimes a little too deep there, and we're not able to exactly track what's going on with the cars. But you can see the kind of grip or lack thereof that Jamie is suffering, really struggling around with the car, but keeping in touch with the leader. Aura HRG is some 2.2 seconds away from this battle for first place. Let's keep an eye on that gap for HRG. Fastest lap currently lies with Antonio, your erstwhile championship leader. It is currently Afa, who is in 6th place at the moment. Looks like HRG, he's looking in his mirrors at the M4 of Mehdi. Will Mehdi be looking for a way through? He's got a slight overlap here. He's got the inside line. Will it be grippy enough? As you can see him counter steering on the brakes. He goes a little bit long. Jamie cuts back, knowing that there's a strong chance. Sorry, HRG cuts back knowing there's a strong chance he's got the inside line. Where is he? Where is he? No, the additional power on the M4 coming out of turn 1 through turn 2, managed to keep the nose ahead. So that was a change for position. Mehdi ahead of HRG, and a small gap then behind HRG of 1.2 seconds to your championship leading Afa, who is biding his time and waiting patiently. Very little tyre wear at this stage, but it will all be about being on the correct tyre for the conditions. Of course, the guys at the rear of the field will have the opportunity to jump the conditions almost. They know it's likely to dry up somewhat and switch to intermediate tyres. Whether it's good for intermediates or worn wets, time will have to tell into the second phase of our race tonight. But as things stand, it is very definitely wet weather conditions out there. There's not a huge amount of standing water, which the drivers will be pleased for, unless you hop off the circuit there on the exit curb, and then you'll find puddles. And you can see the spray hiding the top three from the rest of the following field. But it is the same. It is still Aura, Jamie and Antonio. 1, 2, 3. Brake lights ablaze for the drivers. Obviously it gives them a little bit of an insight into how their rivals decide to go about attacking the lap. The Mehdi HRG battle is slipping away from the top three. We have a neat little three-way battle for the lead, followed by, I think, a two-way battle for fourth place, and then not a huge gap as HRG manages to take advantage of a sidestepping BMW M4 under the control, or maybe not control, of Mehdi. And there is Afa then currently in the BMW behind. Sorry, the BMW M4 behind Mehdi. Different liveries, the split black and red and white and grey livery there of the BMW. Very similar, really, in colour scheme to the Jaguar who's chasing him. Joss has had a tremendous run from the back of the grid, back up to 7th place, and now hassling our championship leader, Afa, who is not enjoying the wet weather at all. The Jaguar trying desperately to get the overlap on the BMW M4. He's got the inside line. The M4 won't be able to turn in until the Jaguar goes for it. Let's see as he touches a wheel. I don't think he needed to get quite so much onto the grass, and loses a little bit of momentum as the M4 of Afa manages to hold on for another corner or two. Lexus Enjoy, Hasnain and Geordie make out your top 10, well, your only 10 drivers, I should say. Not the fastest line, the distinct driver there of Lexus Enjoy heading through the water dip over the apexes. A big adjustment needed for the drivers. They're used to running those inside lines, those heavy curb usage. It's just not very quick in the wet, is it? So down the outside then tries the Jaguar, maybe a hint of a cutback there from Jos, but no way through at this stage. Top three is now Jamie and Aura. Jamie has got himself ahead of Aura. Beautiful stuff to see him up at the front of the race, and let's see if he can hold on, as Aura looks to be more worried about Antonio in his mirrors than Jamie. That might suggest that Aura is struggling a little bit with this heavy rain conditions. Antonio looking for an opportunity down the inside, just showing himself in the mirrors, but Aura, no fault, will not defend fresh air for no reason at all. And HRG stretching away now from Afa and able to try and make some difference on the top three gap. They're currently 2.9 seconds as they keep each other pretty busy and slow each other down a little bit. It's not a comfortable night out there for the drivers. They really earn their points tonight. I do think we should consider giving additional points for wet weather races, because it's just that much harder for them. But it's all part of the challenge of motorsport. Waiting to see what happens with the conditions. If you're watching with us, then give a shout out if you think the conditions start to improve. And we might then see a change off the wet tyres. Remember, we've got wet to less wet to random weather conditions predicted today. How accurate that forecast is going to be. Well, HRG has just gained nearly half a second on that lap alone, and trying to bring himself into contention here. Now, whether Jamie is controlling the pace to bring his teammate into contention, I don't think he's quite got enough pace in hand there to make that stick, but he's going to give it a go, try and stay in front of this pair of front runners who are usually there or thereabouts in our races so far. Remember, it's race 7 of the championship. I think we've got a full calendar of 10. Was it 10? Forgive me. race, 10 rounds to go, so 3 weeks after this one. Same time, of course, same place. Something to keep you occupied until the season 32 F1 league resumes. We've almost got racing every night of the week here on PSGL. A reminder, my name's Webbo. You can find me elsewhere on socials at WebboGr.4, and I post every time I go live, so you can follow my output. But for now, we'll focus, of course, on this battle. Antonio getting a personal best lap, that time of a 1:18.4. Is that actually it's a matched personal best for him for his lap? I want to say for lap 8 by the look of things on the right hand side. Looks like he matched it to the 1,000th. So are we looking at a potential improvement in conditions as he gets another personal best sector this time out? Lexus Enjoy at 1:17.5. Let's have a quick look at that driver and when, yeah, he's just got that fastest lap. So it does look like the cars are going a little bit faster as Geordie Boy has decided to pit. Is that a set of intermediate gold rim tyres on the car? You won't know until he leaves the pit lane, but could be jumping everybody here and trying to make the move and get a big undercut. Yeah, out he comes then. Let's go join Geordie Boy. He's got a 3-second penalty for some infraction, presumably a pit lane speed infraction, but intermediate tyres. Now that 3-second penalty will be paid on the straight. I believe it's the straight before the final hairpin. That's where he will make that difference. Into the pits then comes Aura and Jamie from the lead of the race as Antonio decides it's better to stay out on those wet tyres. One more lap. Into the pits comes virtually everybody. Aura has named Joss, HRG, Jamie, and will we also see Mehdi come in as well now that they will have known that Geordie Boy has been out there? Is he pumping in the fast times? Let's see. As it pertains to this particular run. Still in sector 2 at the moment, and he will be forced to decelerate at the penalty line. That's a off throttle 3 entire seconds, but actually prior to the braking zone, not quite as prohibitive as you would see elsewhere. That is going to mask his first time on his outlap here. Antonio, I'm assuming, will be heading into the pits as well, as we see Dewey, the rearmost driver in the field at the moment. That is Geordie Boy, crossed the line with a 1:41 outlap. That's not a hugely inspiring time from him. Antonio then on his own out front might decide to pit just to defend from the other drivers. He does not. No, quite happy on the wet tyres at this stage, but it does look like the rain has actually stopped falling. The wiper's no longer on. The windscreen not filling up. So is he planning a single stop here to dry tyres, or gambling on that? Running out of room slightly, looking for some wet patches, I'm sure. If you look at the left-hand section at the bottom of the screen next to the tyre wear selection, it's telling you just how much water there is flowing across the tyres and whether they're going to start overheating. Aura got himself ahead of Jamie through that in-lap and out-lap phase. It didn't quite work out for Jamie, neither did it work out for HRG, who's dropped 2 positions. He was in 4th position earlier on, and it's not looking amazing at the moment for him. Bruno says, I think he means look on board the Mercedes. Let's have a look on board Antonio then, if that's what you want. Let's give you that struggling on the tyres. You'd have to say, has he had enough? He's quite confident on these tyres actually. Quite happy to keep running the car in these drying conditions. Whether we see a further shower later, it is only lap 16 and Antonio leads by 12 seconds from Aura, whose time at 1:12.9 is significantly faster, and his gap to Antonio only 12 seconds, and given the fact that Aura has already pitted, he's on dry tyres as well. So it's it's far from straightforward here, as Aura on the softs. Jamie has put the medium tyres on, which will struggle to heat up the same as everybody else's softs. But Afa's gone on to mediums as well. I'm sure I did see intermediates on somebody. Mehdi on intermediates, maybe just for one lap, Mehdi, as he's planning to put those intermediate tyres on. Refueling at the moment, of course, to get him to the end of the race, if possible, or at least brim the tank to shorten the next pit stop. Lexus Enjoy also currently on the intermediate tyres. There's Geordie in, and I think it's dried up a lot quicker than he was planning. Now, whether that pit graphic is correct and he's truly going onto a new set of inters, I would have my doubts. 8.7 seconds is the front there. Antonio still on the wet tyres. Still hasn't gone into the pits. Really hanging out there, while I don't know if he is able to see strictly that Aura is on soft tyres. And as Yazan says, indeed, Antonio losing 5 seconds in that last lap to Antonio. His laps stable around the 117, mid 117 to late 117s. Aura on the 1 minute 12s. Quite what Antonio is planning to do with this one. I think he believes that the car behind is on intermediates, not on dry tyres, and he's got a pit stop in hand. Jamie then in third place on the medium tyres now, running well. He's got half a tank of fuel. I don't think that'll get him all the way to the end of this race. It's only lap 17. Remember to have a look at fuel usage as they run through here. 1 minute 13.9, and a yellow flag we have on the track with overtaking prohibited at the moment. Where is that on track, I wonder? Quite see who is off the circuit as things stand. A little bit of a battle continuing here. Joss just ahead of championship leading Afa, the Frenchman, in the M4, just behind the Jaguar. Both drivers on the medium tyres and trying their best to make up time to the winners. Here comes Antonio then at the front of the field into the pits, getting off those wet tyres. I think he's going to rue that looking back at the replay. Unfortunately for him, I think he's not going to realise his challengers were actually on dry tyres. Went straight from extreme wet to dry tyres, and that could be very, very important for our erstwhile championship leader Antonio, who has been very prolific in point scoring so far this championship. Best lap there goes to Afa, personal best to Afa in 4th place as he chases the back of Joss. It can't be far from Joss's time. No, it wasn't. Joss getting a 1:14.1. Fastest lap with Aura, 1:12.6. Out there in the lead of this race. Remember though, Aura on soft tyres, which will not do the full distance. Here come the wiper blades once again though. The wiper blades back on again from the perspective of the driver's eye view. It's raining again. No spray on this car from Joss, so very interesting as we go back into another situation with a change of conditions for the 3rd time tonight, as now those hard tyres are going to be really difficult. Aura will be kicking himself for pitting, sorry, not Aura, Afa will be kicking himself as the 3rd and 4th place drivers and the 1st and 2nd both pit to come in. It will be such a shame for Antonio, who, if he just waited one more lap, could have got onto the intermediates, a new set of intermediates potentially, as the rain comes down and your season 1 champion Hasnain into the pits. I'm pretty sure everybody into the pits now. There is Mehdi trying to catch the group. He's 50 seconds away from the lead of this race currently. Aura already back out of the pits. Remember these medium tyre runs and full wets on the Geordie boy car. He knew what was going on. I'm not quite sure it's full wet territory yet. We'll check out his lap times. 1:31.1 for him, as Aura on now wet tyres himself is about to lap Geordie. It's that close. Here comes Aura then in the Dodge Viper with the newly wet tyres on. Wet tyres on Jamie's car as well. They've obviously done their homework. They realised that the intermediates just will not work properly around here. First position holding then for Aura. Looks like the car in front, who is being lapped of Geordie will suffer a 3-second penalty shortly. So Aura will have the chance to overtake him down this little straight before turn 10, the final hairpin. As Jamie shoots past both of them, I think, well, certainly challenging into the braking zone of the hairpin. Jamie takes the lead as everyone else around him has got penalties. Jamie back up to the lead of this race and on the wet tyres. Geordie peeling off, what's he up to? Peeling away to allow the drivers through under blue flag conditions there. Geordie getting out of the way of the leaders. So Jamie in charge of the race now on lap 20. Quite half distance, trying to find the braking zone and wiggling the car in. That's not the most effective way to brake, but it certainly works if you're struggling. Bruno says, I think that he had a G27 and a G29 on the PS3. Okay, good stuff. Unfortunately, I'm only rocking a G29 myself, but I'm no racing driver, just a commentator and a hobbyist. Yeah, G29 is your entry level. I'm not quite sure what kind of kit these top drivers are driving. If you're privy to that information, drop it in the chat. I'd love to know what the drivers are using at home. I'm assuming it's going to be better than a G29 because that's what I've got. So I'm sure. Here comes Hasnain. Now, how about this from Hasnain? Strategic masterstroke at the moment. He's on the intermediate tyres. He's got himself up to 3rd position now. Can he cope on the intermediates at the pace of the drivers who put the wets on in front of him? I think he can. Jamie's gone in the pits. Jamie has decided that intermediates are the way to go. Aura goes through once again from the lead of the race. Hasnain straight up to 2nd place. He's bet the farm on the intermediate tyres. Now it stopped raining once again, and at completely changeable conditions here at the Autopolis International Short Circuit tonight in Japan, and we are struggling away to work out the right tyres at the right time. The lesson from Donington 1993, the European Grand Prix that Ed Senna, I believe, used 5 different sets of tyres, was to always be on the right tyre for the current conditions. Don't try to anticipate what the conditions will do. Just use the tyre that is right for now. And Hasnain, the dark clouds gather across the top of the circuit despite the fact that the weather is stable and not currently raining. Hasnain in 2nd place, might be on the better tyre here. Aura on the wet tyres is doing 1 minute 18.4. Hasnain, your champion of season 2 on a 1:17.4 intermediates. Fascinating. Intermediates also the way to go for Antonio. And into the pits comes one of the leaders. That's Hasnain this time, and Antonio goes for a wall riding trip into the pit lane, and be surprised if he doesn't pick up a penalty for that particular entry. Aura getting it all kinds of wrong, going right to the outside of the circuit, suffering chronic understeer on those overheated wet tyres. Combustion Corner tells us that Aura is on a Thrustmaster TGT. Great information, thanks so much for that. Good to hear. And Aura takes the lead, but frankly seems to be on the wrong tyre at the moment. What did Jamie go for? He went back onto dry tyres, which are going to struggle if he uses the outside exit of those corners on those wet curbs that are still kicking up puddles as you go through. Stick to the racing line, Jamie. Give a little margin and you should be okay. Hasnain slips back down to 4th place then, and Lexus Enjoyer up to 3rd. He's on the medium tyres as well. But those dark clouds that are over the top of the circuit do indicate we might be on for more pit stops yet. It's lap 22 of 45. Aura leads Jamie by 12.9 seconds, and Lexus Enjoyer 4.6 further back, but there is still plenty to play for in this race as we wait to see what the drivers are going to make out of the remaining conditions of this race. Medium tyres should, I believe, get you to the end if you're relatively gentle on them and you haven't got too much fuel on the car. Personal best now for Lexus Enjoyer on those mediums, in underlining the fact that the track is in a good place for him. Let's go through then the drivers. Aura pits from 1st on the grid, so Jamie re-inherits that lead. Aura down to 2nd, soon to be 3rd, soon to be 4th, I imagine. Yeah, there goes Hasnain on the soft tyres. Currently, Antonio in 5th will come out next to his championship rival, Aura. Antonio, Aura and Alpha the big scorers so far in this. Antonio's on the softs, Aura's on the softs now, and Afa's picked the hard tyres. Looks to be gambling on no further rain falling from this. I don't think he's looking at the clouds in the sky though, is he? Is Afa. So let's see. Clearly this sky looking pretty good on the way through these corners, but I'm sure that when they turn 180 degrees it suddenly looks a lot darker overhead. You can see the mountains. There we go, those dark thick clouds overhead as you head northeast on the circuit. Below we've got a complete mix of drivers' tyre decisions here. Afa back down to the times he was putting in back in lap 14, lap 15, 16 kind of time. Joss on the softs, won't go to the end on those soft tyres. Hard tyres for HRG, down in 8th position, so about a pit stop away from the lead of this race, 29.8 seconds. Then Mehdi, who's gone for softs. Geordie Boy back in the pits to take off the wet tyres, put on, what are those? Look like Inters being put on those tyres. Whether he's got an updated forecast, I'm not entirely sure. But Jamie, 5.3 seconds in the lead of the race into lap 24. Got a nice cushion now. He can manage that gap, drive to the gap, and make sure his tyre usage isn't too strong. He won't know that Hasnain is on the soft tyres unless he's being sneaky and listening into the commentary tonight. I have known drivers who are able to do that. I take my hat off to them if they're able to listen to someone like me rabbiting on in the background, but you do get the odd little bit of strategic advantage. Hasnain might be concerned that the Lexus Enjoyer and the Nissan Silvia is coming up behind him, only 1.2 seconds behind. Hasnain on softs, Lexus Enjoyer on the medium tyres. Antonio and Aura continue to battle then for 4th place. In fact, Antonio looking at an opportunity to overtake Lexus Enjoyer here, just 1.5 tenths slower. Lexus Enjoyer drifting across the track to the inside. The slightly increased top speed of the Mercedes looks to be just getting the nose into the sufficient position to hold that inside line. Brakes late as he can do, rubbing bodywork as they do into turn 1, and Lexus Enjoyer, well, came off worse after that contact, and there is Aura into 4th place away from Antonio, and there is Afa down into 6th place now, struggling to regain his position on track. So I don't know if you're watching in the chat, if you have a view on that incident, whether you feel Lexus Enjoyer turned in to Antonio, or Antonio didn't give enough racing room. But we'll go side by side with the M4 of our championship leading Afa and the new challenging Joss in the Jaguar. Gets the inside line into the final corner. Much quicker was the Jaguar through there. Looks like Afa just misjudged that corner slightly on the hard tyres. Hasn't quite got the grip of the soft tyre running Joss, but should have a pit stop in hand should the weather continue to clear up, as it appears to be. Some spray still coming off the rear wings of the drivers, but it doesn't look like we're going to have too many problems for them. Not seeing any extra rain coming onto the windscreens of the cars currently, but 20 laps still to go. There is still plenty of drama. We know that the soft runners are going to have to pit again. Mehdi may not need more fuel, might just need to fit new tyres. Geordie Boy has gone on to mediums and is a fair distance away here from the car in front. 1 minute 44 off the lead as well. Now getting a blue flag from HRG in 8th place. Geordie debuting with us tonight and just getting into the rhythm. Needs to give way to the driver behind though, which is HRG, not the leader. Jamie is still, well, his lead has been halved by season 1 champion Hasnain. In the last 2 laps he's taken 2.5 seconds out of our leader, who's on medium tyres. Hasnain, remember, on the soft tyres though, sets the fastest lap on the end of lap 26 of 112.111. And will be right up there challenging for the lead. Where is Antonio though? On soft tyres he is 4.5 seconds off the lead. The next medium runner is actually meet Lexus Enjoyer, who is 8 seconds away from Jamie. Jamie will not know this information. I don't believe he knows the tyre selection of the driver behind. He just has to drive true to his decision to stick with the medium tyres, not make any assumptions and not lose too much time. Jamie currently a 1:13.3 to Hasnain's 1:12.1. The hunt continues then for your Season 1 Championship, running as near the front as he has done at any point in this Season 2. I'm sure he'll be very relieved to be back near the front, but I anticipate you're going to have to add 30 seconds onto his current race time with his current choice of tyres. Not going to get those softs down to another 17 laps. He gets a 12.0, new fastest lap again. Loving the racetrack out there at the moment and the grip available, but he's light on fuel and on the tyres that won't serve him to the end of the race. It could all work out. The rain could come down again. You can see the target in front of him. That is the leader, Jamie. I like to see the fact that Hasnain has got himself matching overalls and helmet for his car. Always gets some style points here in the commentary booth. Gap down now to 0.8 of a second for Hasnain. Right on board with him. Hope you're enjoying this ride on board Hasnain. Seems to be driving very well indeed. Now down to 0.3 of a second. Now he's got the challenge of passing Jamie, but with this kind of overspeed and being able to watch Jamie's braking points, he'll have a feeling that he's on better tyres. I imagine just about picking his time. Yeah, he takes a wide entry into the mid-circuit hairpin. Alongside, heading to the rear of the circuit, and gets the nose ahead. His Gran Turismo sticker on his under his rear wing is upside down. I wonder if he knows that, or that's deliberate in case he rolls it. Well, he takes the lead then at the end of lap 29. Soft tyres, about 60% worn and down into the red on his fuel allocation. Jamie will do well just to use the slipstream here and stay with your Season 1 champion Hasnain. In second place, we'll have a feeling, based on how easily Hasnain got past him, that he's on a different tyre now. Be able to watch very carefully to make sure he doesn't overdo it. Just a reminder of the championship situation coming into this race. We saw Afa on 73 points, Antonio on 69, Mehdi on 46. Moreno on 32. We haven't seen him for a little while. Then it's Jamie in 5th place, Hasnain in 6th. So currently your 5th and 6th place drivers challenging for the front of this race. We've got everyone has scored points in the championship that is currently racing today, unless they're debuting like our man Geordie Boy. Points will be available though if you finish the race, I think in P10. So that will be worthwhile sticking it out. Hasnain, 1.1 seconds extends his lead from Jamie into 2nd place, who has a similar gap out to Antonio, who is on the soft tyres and will need to stop fairly soon. Look at the tyre wear, bottom left of your screen on the soft tyres. Really struggling there to keep those tyres in operation. sure he'll do his best. We've got pit stops from Aura, from Joss, and from Lexus and Joyra underway at the moment. Lexus and Joyra off the mediums, interestingly enough, has pitted. So that is unusual for me to see quite such aggressive tyre wear on the medium tyres quite so early into this stint. He's just refueling at the moment, hence the long wait in the pit stop. Geordie Boy down in P10 at the moment, a minute 50 off the lead. But we do have a three-way battle for the lead once again, and now it's bright sunshine, sharp shadows on the racetrack, and you'd never know it had rained out there today, would you? If you're looking at the track, you come into us at this point of a race, you'd think we'd had dry weather all race long. Not even a puddle kicking up off the apex of the final corner there. And into the pits comes Hasnain off the soft tyres. What does Antonio do? Exactly the same thing. So Jamie will have a pit stop in hand if he can run these tyres the remaining 13 laps of the race. He completes lap 32. He's got half a tank of fuel, but quite a job to do to keep those mediums in operation all the way to the end. Afa takes second place. He's on hard tyres, in a better position on tyre wear than Jamie as things stand. So watch for Afa potentially having made a really smart decision here tonight and trying to recover what was a pretty low-key start to this race in the wet for your current championship leader and the driver with the most wins so far in this season 2. Aura in third place then. He is 26 seconds away from Jamie. He's on medium tyres that are fresh, so he just pitted just now and will be good to the end of the race as well. Then comes Hasnain. Medium tyres, the order of the day for Hasnain. All the tyre minimum lap usage rules go out the window when we've had mixed conditions. Joss impressing here in the Jaguar in 5th place from Antonio. Antonio also on fresh mediums. Everyone has just recently pitted who used the soft tyres. HRG on the hard tyres is 36 seconds away from his teammate, but if his teammate can't get those tyres to the end, he'll be right with him with enough fuel to run the race to its conclusion. Fresh mediums for P8, Lexus, Enjoyer, and P9 Mehdi. Then Geordie Boy still on those mediums from that he came off from the inters or wet conditions earlier on in the race around lap 20. So bets. Let me know in the chat if you think that Jamie can get these mediums all the way to the end of the race. He's under 50%. Remaining on certainly the front axle, I should say. It's going to be a big challenge, but he's got a 13-second cushion. So does he decide to drive cautiously and drop that gap and manage it? Or does he decide to push on the off chance that he might end up having to pit again? Lap times down in the 13.2, 13.1 range. Afa, let's see what he manages to get out. We'll see as the hard tyres. He's running a 13.4 with plenty of wear left. Enough wear left on those hard tyres to finish the job tonight. He crosses the line on a 13.1, a personal best time for the driver. 12.9 for Aura on that. I think that was an in-lap, was it? For Aura. He's on medium tyres. Puts in this time, what does he put in? A 12.7. Time out, end of lap 33. Fastest lap currently lies with Antonio, who up until last week was leading the championship. Hasnain is in the 112.5 range as well. 32 was his lap stop, and now we get some super close racing between Antonio in the Mercedes and Joss there in the Jaguar. Antonio with the pressure of the championship on his shoulders. Oh, Joss with a big mistake coming through the middle sector, but he managed to stay in front. Quite know how we managed that one. Good job from Joss. This doesn't look to be the circuit for Antonio tonight at all. I'm not sure it's quite the circuit for Afa either, but getting closer to the front of the race. Afa, let's see what that gap looks like at the moment. Afa is now 13.3. If anything, Jamie has extended that gap on Afa on the
on the hard tyres, so the hard tyres not really performing. Well, he can't have extended the gap that much as things stand. I thought I saw a flash of rain across the screen there, but I'm going to join the driver on board and see if that transpires into anything. The tyre wear does look too dodgy to get a further 10 out of this from Jamie, who is within his range, who's within about 28 seconds, so he could be challenging for second with Aura and with and third with Hasnain. If he does pit, it's not looking good for Jamie on the medium tyres here to the end of the race. Maybe he tries it. I think he's good for fuel, so if he does get a puncture and has to limp home on the last lap, then so be it. But pitting, he'll guarantee himself not to get the win. Aura 112.5 his last lap, which is only 300th slower than the fastest time he's put in so far, but definitely off the pace a little bit. We've seen drivers in the 111s. Antonio, 111.938 is the fastest driver out there tonight in any conditions, I suppose. So the battle continues down for 5th place between Joss and Antonio. They are just outside of a potential pit stop from our leader, Jamie. I think if Jamie is stopping just for tyres, I think he'll be out again in about 27 to 28 seconds time. Better grip for Antonio through the long left-hander, second sector there. Car performing pretty well. Jamie has bailed into the pits for a 9-lap stint at the end of the race. That is a big shame, but he's decided early he's not running this one too late, so soft tyres the order of the day for Jamie. He'll be quick at the end of the race, and he knows that with 9 to go he can make the most out of those tyres as far as possible. Where is he going to feed out into the order? Surely he can't be second. He has held on to second place, so he's now got the Dodge Viper of Aura behind him, who we know is on a Thrustmaster TGT, thanks to Combustion Corner in the live chat. But you've got Jamie in second, then trying to stretch that gap to the medium, the old medium running Aura, potentially try and catch Afa, who is on the hard tyres, and Afa on a conservation run now. Still could be very tasty at the end of this race. It's amazing how frequently here in the top tier of Gran Turismo racing that we do at Premier Sim Going Helix, how often we have a massive field spread and all the top drivers come together at the end of the race. All the different strategy approaches seem to equalise towards the end of the race. So what's his pace like? It's a 8.3 second gap on this lap. He's stretching away from Aura, who is trying to use the slipstream. Let's just drop back slightly and see if Joss and Antonio are going to be jostling for that first corner. Not just yet. Antonio holding back in 6th place as things stand. The rest of the battle's fairly tame at the moment. Aura, well, I don't think he's going to live with Jamie. Let's join Jamie as he goes on the hunt. 7.8 seconds already through sector 1 of this first lap on the soft tyres. Remember, he's racing Afa, who is on hard tyres. He's got an 8-lap run to go before the end of this race, and he's got a 7-second gap. His pace should level off, but the hard running Afa will probably slow towards the end of his stint. So I expect that Jamie, failing any kind of mistakes, what I like about Jamie's approach here is he very early on said to himself, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make the end of this race on these tyres. Let's just pit as soon as the softs are in the right window. A 1:11.7 for Jamie on lowish fuel, a quarter of a tank and he blasts the fastest lap by 2/10 and is gaining by what it looks to be enough on Alpha. He's now down to 6.3 seconds. These are the laps that are going to matter come the end of the race. We've got a yellow flag on the track at the moment. Not quite sure where that was in operation. The track map not super helpful for us, but it's cleared now. So just a driver stepping off the circuit temporarily there. Jamie's gap 5.5 seconds, putting in some fantastic corners and performance at this stage. Car number 94 going for his first win here in GT1. First championship, I should say. I'm sure in casual gaming lobbies he's had plenty of them, but his first one that I've been watching at least. And that lap was a 1:11.745, just a shade slower than his previous one. Gap down to 4.9 seconds with just under 6 laps to run. Should be right with him, and he's stretched the gap to P3 Aura to 3 seconds in so doing. So the man on the move at the moment is Jamie in the Porsche Cayman GT4 Aperture Laboratory sponsored livery car, as he tries to pound in those lap times. Ben tells me Jamie won a few races ago. Did I miss that? Damn it. Let me just confirm. If I missed that, my apologies to Jamie. Right you are, he won in Austria, correct. My mistake, thank you Ben. But Jamie putting in a really good performance tonight. Those last 3 laps, 1:11.7 for all 3 of them. Unfortunately, Ben, I was away for 3 weeks of September. I think I must have missed that one, unfortunately. A 1:11.8. Oh, he's dropped off his storming form so far. 1 in 40. Lap 40 was a 1:11.8, which was equal to his his lap 36. There's a glitch on the screen, just making it difficult. 2.9 seconds the gap at the moment. Then looks like Afa has got his hands full of Geordie to put a second lap on Geordie at the moment, I believe that is. Certainly a second lap, yeah, coming up to Geordie, and Geordie getting in the way here. Afa will be screaming in the helmet here, get out of my way, dude, because I'm the leader and I've got laps to count. A 1:13.4 the last 2 laps there for Afa as he gets down the inside of Geordie. He won't thank Geordie for that kind of behaviour on circuit. Jamie now, he won't thank Geordie for that behaviour on track, as Jamie will have the same challenge, although of course as the second car to come up against a lap driver you do have a slight advantage in the fact that they've already noticed that they've got to submit to the blue flags. Down the gap goes with 3 to go. It is now 1.7. Jamie absolutely on for the potential win here. How is Alpha's tyre use looking? Not great, honestly. His hard tyres will reach the end, but they'll be down to the canvas. Certainly Aura in P3 is currently quite a way off and on his own in that P3. Got a battle going on currently for Hasnain in P4, Season 1 champion from Antonio, erstwhile championship leader in 5th. But it is all going to be about the battle for the lead at the end of this race. Just to run through the order then before things get tasty, it's Joss in 6th, Lexus Enjoyer in the distinct livery car in P7, then Mehdi in the M4, Pokemon livery Mehdi in the M4 in P8. HRG's gone in the pits. I imagine that's for a new set of soft tyres, try and nab the fastest lap here as the race runs to its end. And Geordie Boy, 2 laps down, has slipped back behind the second place runner for the second time tonight. And Jamie is right with the leader currently, who is Alpha. Jamie sizing up Alpha then. He's got a better run coming out of the final corner, not messing around in the mirrors too much. Does he dare to go for the inside? Let's wait and see. He's got the overlap, he's got superior braking performance, gets the car, well, almost to the apex. struggles to the outside and completes the move. Jamie retakes the lead of this race, back again after a brave decision to pit when he did. Back into P1 then, takes the lead of the race on lap 43, and I think with the pace difference, I'm not sure Afa's going to quite be able to live with the soft tyre running. Jamie, who has used over half his tyre wear allowance in the preceding 5 laps. He's been on this tyre, I believe it was. Yes, but down now into the 1:12s, but significantly quicker than Afa. And look at the gap already, 1.1 seconds for Jamie. Great decision making, great racecraft from Jamie. Wasted no time getting past Afa and is now in the lead of this race. He is currently in 5th place in the championship on only 27 points, level with Lexus Enjoy, but I think will take a big jump up given the position of the drivers around him if he can finish this lap out, this last 2 laps in style. Jamie with a very impressive run tonight. No criticism here for Afa. He is going to have to run this car a little bit lean, turn the engine down on the last 2 laps, given that his fuel light is already flashing. Some doubt there whether Afa will get to the end of this race. Jamie's in a similar fuel position, slightly further up the road though, and with the soft tyres will still get the traction out of the corners and can afford to lift and coast now with the gap at 2.3 seconds. Needs to be really careful with his fuel use though. Just make sure you can reach the end, because he doesn't know the fuel use of anyone else around him. They've all done their homework, they've done their practice runs, they know precisely how much fuel they can run to the end of the race. Antonio with just a pixel or two's more worth of fuel on his fuel gauge than the other drivers, but they're all there or thereabouts. You can see how practiced they've been. Lexus Enjoy maybe a little bit fat with fuel, everybody else in the red when it comes to fuel usage. Final lap has begun for Jamie, 2.5 seconds in front of Afa now, make that 2.7 seconds from Afa in 2nd place. Aura still in 3rd. I don't think we're going to have a huge challenge for the remaining lap of the race. It's all about focus now. Can you keep your focus to the end of the race? Final lap tends not to be a big issue for the drivers because it just has that refreshing factor for them, but I think the hard work has almost certainly been done by the drivers tonight. There is HRG. Won't be pleased to see a 50-second gap to his leading teammate. There is the fuel flashing away for Jamie. Just 2 corners to go now. I don't think I've seen any penalties on the board for Jamie, and he's got the fastest lap as things stand. Rounds the final 2 corners. Little kink to the left is the final corner, turn 11, and Jamie up against the pit wall, running on the grass, takes the checkered flag, and Jamie wins in the Autopolis International Short Circuit, round 7 of our 2nd season. Afa picks up 2nd place with a strong drive on the hard tyres. Aura in 3rd. Antonio with a good recovery in the 2nd half of that race to pick up 4th place. Hasnain takes 5th. Joss in 6th. Lexus Enjoyer will come round, I think, to take that final 7th position on the end of the race. Mehdi currently on his own in 8th. HRG will take 9th. Geordie Boy's already crossed the line and has finished in 10th place. But Jamie is your winner of round 7 and will take a big lurch forward in the championship. Hope you've enjoyed that tonight, folks. We won't be likely to have any interviews with anyone, but I'll let you know if I hear anything from the drivers. That's the end of the race tonight. Don't make sure that you catch us next week. I think Luke Etheridge will be in the seat for me next week, all going well. Jamie's got a clean race bonus as well. 3-place climb. Very successful night's racing for Jamie. Congratulations to him. And thank you so much for everyone who's been watching, everyone who's left a comment, a like, and who's decided to follow us at Premier Sim GL and at WebORed5 on Twitter. Thanks, folks. That's all for tonight, and we will catch you on the next race day.